Hello everyone. In today's session, we'll be talking about ICICI Prudential Small Cap Mutual Fund, and we'll see whether this particular fund is suitable for you, right? So, without wasting much time, let's dig deep into this particular session. And if you like our work where we analyze different mutual funds, please do hit the subscribe button, like the video, and if possible, please do share with your friends and relatives. So, without wasting much time, we'll dig deep into this particular session, right? So, if you just a minute, yeah. So if you see this, when it comes to the return comparison, if you had invested 10,000 rupees in this fund since its inception, the 10,000 would have turned to 54,391 rupees. But at the same time, the category average is 75,000. So the difference is wide. That is 20,000, more than 20,000. The difference is. So you should always, when it comes to returns comparison, you should always zoom out. Means you should always compare the returns with respect to 5, 7, 10 years, not 1, 2, 3 years, right? Next, exit load, same 1% if you redeem within 1 year. The turnover is average 36%. I'll say below the category average. And the expense ratio is a bit on the higher side, that is 1.83%, right? When it comes to asset allocation, it's nearly 90% into equities, and the rest is they are holding in the form of cash. The most important thing, the factor profiling. If you see the style of investing, this particular fund has a better style of investing as compared to its own 5 years historical range, right? But it is at par with the category average, right? When it comes to yield, this fund is on the lower side, and that's perfectly okay, because we know when it comes to small cap funds, they don't hold such stocks which gives out dividend, right? When it comes to momentum, it's kind of below the category average. So that's a point of concern, that being a small cap fund, the fund management team is kind of skeptical when it comes to momentum stocks. Another point of concern is the low quality of stocks that this fund holds. This fund or the fund management prefers those companies that have a weak financial book. They have low profitability and they have high leverage, right? So that's a point of concern with respect to the companies that this fund holds. Volatility, it's at par with the category range. When it comes to liquidity, it is more than the category average. That means this particular fund holds such companies which are liquid. And this is something that is not quite seen in the small cap space, right? When it comes to size, it's below the category average. So there is always room for growth. When it comes to risk analysis, if you see, the beta is nearly the same with respect to the category average. The alpha is just 2% more than the category average, but the Sharpe ratio is more than the category average. That difference is 0.12%, right? When it comes to the exposure, this particular fund is overweight in the industrials and consumer cyclical sectors. If you compare the consumer cyclical sector with the category average, you will see that it is relative to the category, it is more overweight in the consumer cyclical sector, and in the industrial sector, it is at par with the you can say the category average. When it comes to healthcare, the category average is 8.44, but this particular fund invests nearly 15% into this particular sector. So it's heavy into these two top sectors, that is consumer cyclical and industrial, right? The top 10 holdings, you can definitely see this on your screen. You can take a screenshot. Cyient Limited, Rolex Rings, KI Industries, 𝐒𝐮𝐬𝐫 Limited, Limited, and so on, right? When it comes to very important, the two things that I like about any mutual fund analysis is one is the factor profiling, and the second one is the market volatility measure, where we see the upside and downside capture ratios, right? So the upside capture ratio of this fund is at par with the category average, but on the downside, this fund scores badly. You should point this, you note down this point, that this fund fares poorly when it comes to downside capture. When you're taking a small cap fund, always go through this particular downside ratio, right? The maximum drawdown is 7.49%, whereas the category is 13%. That is irrelevant, because if the fund doesn't have the capacity to have a better downside capture ratio, the drawdown doesn't matter. How much percent, it doesn't matter, right? When it comes to concentration, there's a healthy number of 70 stocks. The top 3 sectors hold 42.31%, which is more than what the category holds. What a category average is less than this 42.31%. The fund is managed by Sharmila De Mello. She is managing this fund from 2022. Anish Tawakle joined recently, as well as Sri Sharma also joined recently. So this is the point of concern, because these 3 managers have joined this particular firm, that particular scheme recently. So the when it comes to the fund management teams, you can see some kind of weakness. When it comes to strength, the success ratio of the parent firm, that is ICICI AMC, ICICI Prudential AMC, is 68%, which is considerably good. This particular fund closely follows the market cap as well as the investment style of its peers, that is the other small cap funds. When it comes to ICICI Prudential AMC, it promotes in-house talent, which is a good thing, and grooms analysts. And these analysts they become future fund managers. So they at least they know, they are very well conversant, they are very habituated. They know the ICICI Prudential thought process. They know the basically leadership style, and they know what is expected from them, right? ICICI Group AMC has strict guidelines when it comes to investments in group companies. They have group companies, so they have strict guidelines when it comes to investments in group companies, so that there is no potential conflict of interest. So these are the some strengths. When it comes to weaknesses, there are many. Number one, as you can see, they have 3 fund managers managing this fund, but they are relatively inexperienced with respect to this particular fund. ICICI Prudential AMC has launched several trendy passive strategies that are the talk of the town, but these particular funds or these particular schemes that they launch often are not understood by the investors. So somewhere down the line, the investors can fall for trendy names, trendy styles, but at the end of the day, if you don't understand the investment philosophy, there is no point investing in that stock. The returns that this fund has generated is comparable with its peers, but when it comes, if you compare the returns with the benchmark, the returns are subpar. So you should, when it comes to returns, you should be comparing this particular fund with the category average as well as the index. When it comes to generating alpha over a 10-year period, as you can see in the first slide, when we talked about 10,000 generating to 55,000. So this fund has not generated enough alpha in the past 10 years. So that's the point of concern. Moreover, the fees is quite high considering its performance over the 10 years. The fee is placed within the second costliest quintile if you compare it within its own peers in the small cap category. One disclaimer, this particular information, whatever I have shared, is for information purpose only. Don't assume this as my investment advice, and take your investment advice by consulting with your financial advisor. When it comes to MoneyQuest rating, our rating is rising star, which means neutral, because this fund has to show performance in both upside as well as downside if this fund has to gain prominence in our rating, right? So we'll keep a track of this particular fund, whether this particular fund shows performance in both the areas. And if you are invested in this particular fund, I'll say hold your investments and be in the lookout for better opportunities. And if you are a beginner and you are thinking about this particular fund by seeing recent returns, then I'll say just go through this video and you'll definitely understand that there are many funds that are better than this particular funds at this point of time. So that's it for today. I hope you liked our video, and we'll try to be regular with our videos. And if you like this particular session, this particular masterclass on ICICI Prudential Small Cap Fund, please do subscribe to our channel, like the video, and share this particular video with your friends, relatives, and well-wishers. Thank you so much.